if you have a dream that includes freelancing, take action. Don't overthink everything, especially once you've invested in this program. Do the steps and take the action.
Hey, MPP, it is Dee Ivins, Delisha Ivins, and I'm here on behalf of Mike Shreve and the No Pants team. And today, I have the awesome pleasure of interviewing Miss Katrina Nichols, who's been rocking it in the No Pants community. Katrina, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh, we're excited to have you. So, Katrina, tell us a little bit about your superpower.
I would say my superpower is storytelling and interviewing. I'm a freelance journalist, and I've worked full-time in journalism, so interviewing folks comes real easy to me. And once I have some information about them, I can pretty much go anywhere from there.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, so you could take that story and then turn it into things from there. So
I like to say I write about interesting people and interesting businesses.
That's cool. That's a pretty cool superpower to have. So how are you enjoying it so far? How are you enjoying freelancing?
So for 25 years, I've done freelance journalism. I've done some full-time journalism, but most of the time I've worked full-time in sales and done some form of freelance writing on the side. So I've always used my superpower for good, and I've used my superpower in some way always. But lately, I've wanted to use it more for freelancing, and I wanted to replace a lot of my income and give myself more freedom.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a pretty common goal among freelancers. Yep. It's just financial flexibility and you know, financial viability. That's cool. So tell me about some of the goals that you have for your freelancing career for getting started and kind of moving in that direction.
My goal right now is to get paid to read. I love doing writing, and the writing's always going to come to me. I'm using some of the systems that I've learned in the No Pants project to take what I'm learning in a separate course about professional proofreading. And I'm going to use what I'm learning from the No Pants project to promote my proofreading and copy editing line of business. That way I can lay in a hammock here in Key West, Florida, and just mark up the pages of someone's manuscript and get paid to read. That's my ultimate goal right now.
That sounds fun. And maybe a little jealous, because if you get a margarita in combo with that,
there might even be a cabana boy that just brings the cold drink over. And
I'm telling you.
I know.
I feel like I need to change my superpower now. That sounds pretty awesome. That's great. So what were you doing? I know you said you were doing some freelancing on the side, and then, you know, you had your regular like sales and stuff like that you were doing. Tell me a little bit about what life was like before the No Pants project. Like, kind of how did your day go? How did your week go? What were some of the things that you worked toward in some of your struggles?
My biggest struggle was finding clients. Oh, actually, having clients come to me. My struggle was I was always finding the clients. Mm-hmm. So now I have systems in place to help the clients that need me, when they need me, find me at the right time. I used to only have clients that I met from networking events. And I moved to Key West from Pennsylvania in January, so I'm starting over in a new town. And I knew that relying on face-to-face networking in a very small community wasn't going to help me reach my financial goals, that it was really time to play a bigger game and put the foundation underneath the business I already had and create systems that would help the clients that needed me find me, instead of relying on my own efforts all the time to find new clients. It was exhausting. So this is a much better way for me to have a business.
Right. No, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, especially because networking is so like local. I mean, it's just so pretty much, unless you're doing like networking in like a Facebook group or something like that, but like your networking is all just hyper local to the area you're in. So yeah, if you want the freedom to be able to travel or the freedom to just be able to move or to live in Key West, Florida, you got to kind of find a different model. That's awesome.
That's right.
So did you know your superpower going in? Like, you're talking about doing, proofreading and editing. Was that kind of something you had thought about or considered before coming into NPP?
It was. And I actually put that part of my business on hold to develop more of the content marketing and the copywriting because I needed money. And a lot of the things that I learned early on, I put to use right away. And I easily paid for the course with my first 2 clients.
Oh, awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I totally did it with like my first client. I was like, yay. So how was your confidence going in? I mean, you totally already paid it off, so that's awesome. How did you feel about, your techniques and your skill sets and your comfort with working with clients kind of going into the No Pants project?
So that's a great question. I had confidence. I'm a great salesperson. I know I'm a good writer. I've been published for 25 years in different newspapers and magazines, and I've written websites. So confidence wasn't an issue for me. I didn't have any foundation under the business I had built. If I stopped working it, it stopped working. Yeah. So coming in, confidence wasn't an issue. I was lacking so many other things that I had leapfrogged over to just dive into doing a freelance business. And I knew it was time to put those really important things underneath what I was doing, or I wouldn't have a business in the future.
Right. No, that totally makes sense. And it's really easy, especially I think for a lot of freelancers too. If you get started on even like, some of these gig-based platforms where you just jump in and, you're like, okay, I got to start making money. But you're so kind of in that momentum that you forget about, like making it sustainable, making it something that's built around your lifestyle. So that's cool that you're coming back and you're doing that work now to like have something that where you can sit in a hammock and totally like Jimmy Buffett your life away. That's pretty cool. And Key West is the place to do that. Yeah, you're hitting every one of my like retirement goals right now, and you're doing pre-retirement. That's awesome. So how are things looking right now for you? Tell me a little bit about, you were working, I'm guessing, were you working like full time before and kind of doing your freelancing on the side? Is that what you were doing?
Right. I've been working for a year for a sales software company that's based in California, and I've been doing sales and customer service calls for them full time. And once I started the No Pants project and really got some of the first couple steps under my belt and started seeing the potential, I cut my hours back to part-time. I already had some copywriting clients on the side that I wanted to do more with. And part of the beauty of the No Pants project is that it teaches you so much that even if you already have clients, you can now offer them more than you did before. So I immediately compensated for the part-time hours, and that's where I've stayed with the job, is part-time. And it's great to have that base underneath me. But the 2 new clients that I brought on recently through the No Pants project, they're like gravy on top of all of that. And I'm happy just working with them right now while I study the professional proofreading course and work to develop that new line of business. So I'm really happy where things are going.
Awesome. So yeah, so I think, once you get that kind of under you, that new course, and you're kind of solid in that skill set and confident in it, then if you wanted to, you could go to just full-time freelancing if that was kind of in your goal set. But that's cool. Like even just having that additional income and that additional flexibility. Tell me a little bit about how things are looking right now. So you've got the part-time job still in California, and then you've got your client work that you're doing. How much free time does that give you, a week versus what you were at before?
I have 3 or 4 hours every day that I can go to the beach or just wander around town. Key West is a really fun place to be. And, I love just being a tourist in my own backyard. So recently I got sick while I was up in Pennsylvania visiting my family. And I was still getting better when I came back here. And I had the luxury of being able to take 2-hour naps every day last week after I was done with my part-time job. So I'm well. And I don't think I would have been able to take care of my health if I had still been working full time, if I didn't have the freelancing to support me, especially since I'm charging, my full hourly rate, I'd really be in a bad place.
Right. So with the 2 clients that you have already, you were able to replace that part-time work with the freelance work that you're doing and make up that income?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's
Mm-hmm.
cool. So tell me about some of the struggles, like as you were going through the No Pants project. Everybody kind of, and not everybody, some people just breeze through it, but some people hit a point where they're just kind of like, oh, I get stuck on week 2 for like a minute. And then, all of a sudden everything clicks and then they just, they skyrocket. Were there any parts like during the process, during the program, or even just like on your own personal life while you were building your freelance biz where you kind of felt like it was a struggle, and how did you overcome that?
So that's a great question. I struggled in the space between my 2 ears, these 6 inches. That was my biggest struggle. I started to overthink everything. There's so much to learn, and the way Mike lays it out is very systematic, and I'm very impatient. I wanted to somehow bypass most of that information. I thought, oh, I don't have to do all that. I've already been freelancing, and I was wrong. Because the reason I didn't have a foundation under my business is I had never done the steps he was asking me to do. And here I paid to have him lay out the steps for me, and I still wasn't doing them. So I became very overwhelmed. And what I eventually had to do was just step back for a couple of days and then start from square one and just work systematically through the process and really surrender to the process and trust the process. Because for me, there was no more leapfrogging over what I was supposed to have done. I just had to buckle down and do it. Maybe that goes against the creative spirit. I don't know, but I'm better for having done the steps the way they were laid out. So initially my struggle was just overthinking. And once I started taking action, everything fell into place for me.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty common. I hear other students who've done the same thing. They're like, if you just follow the steps, just do the work, just don't skip. I'm like, yes, that's good to know. So what about high points? Like when you got your first client, how long were you in the program before you got your first client?
I was in the program probably 3 months before I really buckled down and did the marketing portion. And my first client came because I adapted one of the methods, which involves cold emailing. And instead of sending emails, I got in touch with businesses that I know on Facebook. So I sent an instant message to somebody and invited them to talk with me. I wanted to share some ideas with them about how they could use Facebook to improve their business. So we ended up having this terrific discovery call. It was a real high point for me because thanks to what I learned from Mike and from the community, I knew just to let the client talk and not try to make a sale during that conversation. And that was new for me. I'm a great salesperson. I go like right for the close. And I learned the benefit of coming from a place of service.
Mm-hmm.
So I really listened to this client. And then I said to him, I have some really great ideas now that we've had a chance to talk. I'd love to put together a proposal for you. Can I send it to you in a few days? And he was so excited. He was so eager, and he kept thanking me. So that was really exciting for me. That was a huge high point. And when I put the proposal together, I just started with one small thing that I was going to do for him, just a nice, simple marketing plan. And that really got our relationship off on a strong footing because we did something small together. We learned to trust each other. And then we did a much bigger program together, and we're having a great time working together now.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think so in the No Pants project, the small project that you do up front to help a client and to kind of test those trust boundaries, Mike refers to it as an appetizer. So if any of you have watched some of Mike's other videos, those are kind of the small projects that Katrina's talking about here. Am I right, Katrina? Like a small appetizer. And he's like, got you. It's okay. And then the other thing though, the cold emailing, Katrina's talking about cold emailing. That's actually through a bonus program that is included with the No Pants program. So the No Pants program is going to get you from 0 to 90. or 0 to full-time freelancing in 90 days. And then a bonus to that, if you need to get clients quickly to kind of get some ground underneath your feet and to learn a little bit about your market and test and do all that fun stuff, is the Fast Client Getting Workshop. It's a separate program, but with your purchase of the No Pants Project, you actually get that included, and it's super fun. It has its own coaching program and everything. So if you guys are looking at the No Pants Project, that does come with it. So tell me a little bit about, how confident are you in your future now? Like, how, when you think about, okay, next month I'm gonna do this, and this next year, here are my goals. Like, what are you feeling about your future now, Katrina?
I'm super confident about the future of my business now because I have the infrastructure in place to decide who I want to serve, who I want to work with, and I have several different systems that I can choose from to do the marketing to attract those new customers, those new clients. Plus, I have this wonderful community of other people on the No Pants Project that I can immediately ask questions of and get knowledgeable, enthusiastic answers from. So I'm very confident because I'm not flying solo anymore. And I'm not struggling to do this on my own or to try to find all the answers on my own. I don't have to struggle anymore. So I'm very confident.
Yeah, I would definitely say that community is one of my favorite things ever. I get stuck, everybody's got their one superpower. And I just talked today to another student earlier today, where it was like his superpower is accounting. And I was like, good, because it's not mine. I need you to come save me. So it's so awesome. Even just on a personal level, being able to expand your network from this many people to this many people, who all have superpowers in different areas, who can come and help you build your business, and who you can also refer, if you need to tag team some client work together to build your clients' businesses. I mean, those are awesome. So I love just having that community there, because I don't know, that community is probably a superpower and PP of itself. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm definitely there with you. Tell me, Katrina, if you had some thinking back through your time in the No Pants Project, from the time you started to where you are now, at some point you probably had these aha moments where everything just kind of clicked and you're like, oh, I get it. What were your breakthroughs? Or maybe share some of your tactics for somebody else who's just thinking about getting started.
My biggest breakthrough came when I was about to do the discovery call with this one client that I have right now. And there were some different things that I wanted to use as an approach during that call. And instead of trying to figure it all out in my own little brain, I took my questions to the community and had 20 different answers in the space of an hour or two. And that helped me sort out how I was going to handle the discovery call. That was a huge aha moment for me, that I didn't have to do it by myself. That was absolutely huge for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. I'm totally with you. I love it so much. And as far as working through the program, did you find that there was a certain time of day or a certain way that you could work through the program that worked better for you?
I go back to studying in high school and college. If it's new material and I study it before bed, I somehow retain it more, and then I can go through it and work the steps during the day. But I find the new material, I don't know, maybe because my brain was sort of, starting to shut down at night, the new material seemed to go into my brain more readily the hour and a half or so before I went to bed. Plus, that's the time of the day that my phone's not ringing. I'm not getting too many instant messages or other distractions. So yeah. I found the end of the day was really a good time for me to sit and learn.
Yeah, I think that depends on the person, but I think the end of the day is a good time for me too. It's after the kids go to bed, I just put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and it makes things so much easier. So I'm like, oh, good. Oh, that's awesome. So you've gone through MPP, you're building your business, things are starting to come together. You've got your 2 clients right now, which are your, financial flexibility, and you're helping them do amazing things for their businesses. You're learning new coursework. You're learning new skills and new tactics. What's next? Like, what are kind of your things that you're looking forward to? What are if you had to sum it all up and you're like, here's what I'm looking forward to and here's what you're going to experience, kind of thing?
What I'm looking forward to right now is more consistency in the outbound marketing that I'm doing with my business. Right now, I'm pretty busy with my part-time job and getting used to being in a new community. I'm doing some freelance journalism here. I'm working with these 2 clients plus 2 or 3 others that I already had on board. So I'm where I want to be right now, but I know that I can't rest for too long. So my goal right now moving forward is to take consistent action on a daily basis towards marketing several different lines of my business. I'll probably market 2 lines at a time. Mm-hmm. Right now, it'll probably be resume writing, and I'll start to put out some feelers for the proofreading and copy editing.
That's cool. And now you've got a skill set, so you know how to build the foundations for each of those. Like if you wanted to specialize each one of those as kind of like a hook in a water to get clients, you know how the foundations to do that.
That's really the biggest thing, is having the foundation, always having a system to turn to, a community to turn to. I can never really get off track unless I decide to. Mm-hmm. It's all there for me.
That's so cool. So what parting words of wisdom do you have for everyone? All the nice people who are going to be tuning in to watch your amazing, beautiful face in Key West, Florida.
It's funny. What I've said about this whole last year is I've become such a gypsy, and I didn't even know I had a gypsy soul, but I've moved 4 times in the last year, including one time here in Key West from one apartment to another. And, thank God for the freelancing and for the remote job that I've had. Because sometimes I've been working from a hotel room, or I've been working from a friend's porch while I was visiting them. So my word of advice is, if you have a dream that includes freelancing, take action. Don't overthink everything, especially once you've invested in this program. Do the steps and take the action, and don't spend too much time getting bogged down in things. You can't possibly know how everything's going to turn out. And the beauty of doing something like this is that sometimes one way leads on to another way, and that leads on to another way. And there's no way to see all of that ahead of time. So my advice, the wisdom I would share, is to take action and just get in there and do it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it totally reminds me of like just the journey of freelancing and of entrepreneurship is kind of like a self-discovery journey. You start doing something and you're like, oh, I kind of like this. And then you learn more about it, and then you just kind of branch off, and, all of a sudden you're like, there's just so many things you can do. It's so fun. Katrina, I've loved having you on here. It's so cool. So for some people who, and I know there's going to be people who are like, okay, all right, but is the no pantsing, listen at me, is the no pants program, is it a good fit for me? Like, am I going to sign up to this course and it's going to be like work through a bunch of modules and I'm going to get stuck, and then like, how do I get out? How do I get unstuck? Is it going to be a good investment? What would you say to those people?
You know what I would say? If you haven't achieved the level of success in your freelancing business that you have seen yourself achieving, there's a reason you haven't been able to do it on your own. There must be something missing, or you would have achieved the level of success that you saw yourself achieving long before this. So if that's where you're at and you want to have greater success in your freelancing career, invest in this program so that you actually have a foundation, an infrastructure, a community, and some accountability as well. That's what I would say.
All good points. All good points. Well, Katrina, I know you got some more beach time to get in. I can see that sunshine already on your face. And look at, like, compare just the beautiful white pastiness of me compared to your beautiful tan. I'm so jealous. I love it so much. Hey, thank you for taking time away from your hammock and away from your jobs and your clients to come hang out with us for half an hour. I super appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the group later.
Thank you. It was really great being here. I really appreciate being a part of the community. Have a great day.
Aw, thanks. You too.